Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear my best friend Degrassi's Annie Clark. Happy birthday to you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Degrassi Kid Podcast. It's Annie Clark's birthday today, and for me, this is truly like a national holiday. I'm taking the day off work. I'm signing up for no responsibilities, and all day I will live true to the phrase, it's Annie Clark's birthday. I can do whatever I want. And I have faithfully celebrated this holiday for years. Some years I go out and celebrate. Most years I stay in to binge watch Annie Clark movies, Annie Clark TV shows, and even Annie Clark interviews where she tells everyone we're best friends.
Shout out to Jocelyn. We still talk on Twitter.
I've been celebrating this holiday for so long that my first celebration was on Tumblr. I got a bunch of Degrassi fans to write happy birthday messages for Annie, and then I mailed them to her at the set of Degrassi with a little birthday gift. Isn't that cute? So yeah, it was an absolute freaking no-brainer that I was going to do a podcast episode all about Annie for her birthday. We're going to go through Annie's entire acting history. Here's some very special birthday messages from Annie Clark fans, and of course celebrate the legacy of Fiona, Celestine, Arabella Coyne from Degrassi. And I'm so excited. Let's do my favorite thing in the world. Let's talk about Annie Clark and celebrate her birthday on the Degrassi Kid Podcast. Andrea Jeanette Clark was born June 4th, 1992. In the 6th grade, when the yearbook asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" little baby Annie replied, "I want to be a star." Well, kind of. She always dreamed about it, but wasn't so sure that being an actress would actually become a reality. Instead, she spent her childhood on the ice, first as a competitive figure skater and then as a hockey player in a girls' house league. And it doesn't take being Annie's biggest fan to figure out that she really loves hockey. It's an interest she's always shared with her dad, even if they root for completely different teams. And Annie's dad was the one who encouraged her to pursue the transition from figure skating to hockey when she was growing up. And the absolute cutest story of him being a supportive hockey dad is during one of little Annie's first games, when she scored her very first goal. Her dad immediately ran down to the ice, called out to the referee, and got his hands on that exact hockey puck. And he didn't just put it on a shelf or tuck it away in a box of keepsakes. No, he's a hockey dad. So he took the puck that he saved from her first goal and turned it into a trophy with a date on it. Oh my God, that is the cutest thing that I've ever heard. But honestly, it's not nearly as cute as our first happy birthday messages from Annie's mom and dad.
Just want to wish a special happy 30th birthday to my darling little baby girl. I have to say to the world that I'm in love with Annie Clark, and she's a girl. In fact, she's my daughter. Happy 30th, sweetheart.
Happy birthday, Annie. They say the third child's the charm, and you're proof of that. I hope you have the best day ever. Happy 30th.
Oh my God, that is the cutest thing ever. I'm in love with Annie Clark, and she's my daughter. Oh, my heart. When Annie was on the podcast a few weeks ago, she shared how her mom was the example parent for supporting a young actor's dreams. She drove for hours and hours just to get Annie to an audition, and that audition led to Annie's most memorable role as Fiona on Degrassi, where she met two people who felt just like a second mom and dad.
Hi, Annie. It's
Annie.
It's your Degrassi parents here.
And me, Linda, and Stephen.
Yes, happy birthday.
Oh my gosh, you're the best. Happy birthday.
We miss you.
From Mom and Dad, Degrassi.
Oh my gosh, Degrassi. Okay, I know this whole thing is supposed to be about Annie right now, but like the executive producers of Degrassi were just on my podcast. I'm losing it right now, okay? Now, Annie's real-life parents were nothing but supportive when she said she wanted to be an actress, but she had to grow up first. For now, she could go on the ice and play hockey, or stay at home learning about all the things you can do with some paper, scissors, and glue. But if she could just wait until she was 14, then she could become a real actress. So she did. She waited, passing the time by staring up at her hand-me-down Leonardo DiCaprio poster, daydreaming of when she could be an actor too. And she did this while growing up with her brothers and sisters, like Allie, who now has a little family of her own.
Happy birthday, Annie! We love you, from Allie,
David,
Chloe, and Tail,
And Brie.
and Bree too, and my tiny sister Brazzy. Love you!
Oh my gosh, love you. I am melting. Now, improv theater and acting classes prepared a young Annie Clark for her first breakout role as teenager number 1 in Roxy Hunter and the Secret of the Shaman. Basically, here's the plot of the movie. There's this unique person who lives in the woods, and the town wants to drive them out. Think of like the Grinch Who Stole Christmas kind of vibes. But Roxy Hunter sees through it all. She sees the good, and she tries to convince the town to give this poor, misunderstood person a second chance. But not teenager number 1, who shouts, "Lock him up!" from a crowd of fed-up teenagers. And here it is, Annie's first official line as an actress.
Wait a second, deputy. We want in.
Bob, Larry, meet your new crew.
What's really cool about Annie's first role is there are so many people connected to Degrassi from this one movie. Demetrius Joyette is one of the leading characters, and he goes on to play Mike Dallas in season 12 of Degrassi. Dallas meets Fiona and shamelessly hits on her, despite the fact that she's openly a lesbian. And from there, they actually end up growing closer and sharing one of the most emotionally vulnerable scenes together on Degrassi's rooftop. Dallas just lost his best friend, and he feels responsible. And Fiona follows Dallas up to the rooftop and talks him down from all of these big emotions. And she encourages Dallas to get help.
Good. So I'm gonna need your help so that this never happens again.
I can't help anybody, Fiona.
Yes, you can. Let's start by helping you, okay?
Ugh, if you're wondering why I'm in love with Fiona, moments like this are exactly the reason why. And it's just so cute to think of them as these like little baby actors in Roxy Hunter, and then they grow up to be on Degrassi, handling all of these mature stories together, and that's so cute. And what's really amazing about the Degrassi cast is even if the characters aren't friends on screen, the actors still form these really close friendships in real life. There's characters Fiona's never even spoken to, like Becky Baker, for example. But that didn't stop Sarah Fisher from sending in an adorable happy birthday message.
Annie Clark, oh my God, happiest birthday. I love you so much. I could cry in the shower about it. Ideally, we would go to Vegas and celebrate because we do well in Vegas. You know, I think we thrive in Vegas. But for real, your friendship means so much to me and is so special to me. And I hope you have the best 30th ever. Oh my God. 30's the new 20. It's going to be great. And I love you so much, and I can't wait to celebrate with you. Mwah.
Oh my gosh, a true ray of sunshine in human form. I'm inviting myself to this girls' trip next time, by the way. Now, Sarah wasn't in Roxy Hunter, but there was a lot of actors who appeared in both Degrassi and Annie's first ever movie. Sean and Jay's auto shop teacher, Mr. L, Casey's mom, Lisa. You remember Darcy's My Room page and that guy who stalked her? He's in it. Liberty and JT's sewing teacher, Mr. Morton. They all appear in Roxy Hunter and the Secret of the Shaman. And I think that's so cool. Like, who knew in her first ever movie she was sharing the screen with all of these Degrassi actors? And then she'd go on to be one of the most staple characters in the show. Like, that is cute. They even share the same directors. Eleanor Lindo directed the entire Roxy Hunter series and directed over 60 episodes of Degrassi. And I mean like all of Degrassi. She directed episodes in the 80s, in The Next Generation, and Next Class, and she even directed one of my favorite Fiona episodes called When Love Takes Over, which is when Fiona and Adam go on a double date with Eli and Claire. And I just thought Fiona was so freaking cute in that episode. Eleanor also did the season 10 premiere called What a Girl Wants, which was all about Fiona, and she directed other really memorable Degrassi episodes like Fight the Power, which is when Jane joins the boys' football team and they beat her up. Now, for Jane, that episode wasn't very fun, but a real-life friendship with Annie Clark, that sure is.
Happy birthday, Annie! Welcome to your 30s. It's Paula. I hope it's an amazing day and year for you. Mwah.
Aw, I've separately met both Paula and Sarah, and I can tell you, they are two of the nicest people in the world. Both of them made me feel like I was an absolute rock star when I met them. So thank you guys for sending in adorable voice messages. And I'm trying to do this podcast in a way that when Annie's listening, she doesn't suspect who the next voice clip is going to be, because like all of this is a surprise, but also recognizing that I do actually have 400 other listeners who are not Annie Clark and might need some context on whose voice is playing in the moment. So these transitions will come out of nowhere on purpose. But back to the timeline. After filming Roxy Hunter, Annie does a TV episode of The Listener and locks lips with another Degrassi star. She has a scene with the actor Steve Belford, who played Ellie's boyfriend Jesse on Degrassi. And we know Annie Clark just has a thing for Ellie's boyfriends.
Yeah, I want to kiss Jake Epstein.
From there, Annie filmed an LG commercial, had an appearance on Overruled, and filmed the pilot for Wingin' It. But my favorite guest star role that Annie's ever done was with a character named Forrest Greenwood. Annie shared the screen with even more Degrassi stars in the YTV series How to Be Indie. It starred Belinda Shankar, who played Ali Bandari, and Dylan Everett, who played Cam Saunders on Degrassi. And the episode is classic. Melinda's character is trying to throw a party and impress the cool kids. And of course, Annie plays one of the cool kids. Like, honestly, most characters that Annie plays, their basic description is that they're cool and pretty. And I'm like, okay, so like, is she ever gonna act? Like, she can just show up to set. But because this show is like a family channel kind of vibes, everything goes wrong, and now there's chickens everywhere. Obviously. Annie's character, Forrest, delivers some of the most classic, condescending cool girl lines, just like this one.
Wow, you have more friends than I thought you would.
And this perfectly prepares Annie for her most notable role as the sassy socialite Fiona Coyne on Degrassi, where she goes on to meet a dear friend.
Happy 30th, Annie Jeanette Clark. It's Ian. I just wanted to wish you the best, and I hope you're enjoying this awesome podcast episode dedicated to you, and happiest of all birthdays.
Ian is Degrassi's publicist, and of course, he's just like the nicest person ever. I was like, hi, it's gonna be Annie's birthday. I'm doing this podcast. And in true Ian fashion, he was like, got it, I'm on it. Like, don't even worry about it. He's the reason there's so many wonderful people from Degrassi chiming in with birthday messages. Every hour, I was just getting a new email titled like Paula's voice clip, Linda and Steven. And as a Degrassi fangirl, I was freaking out. I'm like, this almost feels like it's my birthday. So an extra special thank you to Ian. Mwah. And that brings us to our favorite show. After auditioning for another Epitome Pictures project called St. Bridget's Medical, Annie got her role on Degrassi. Annie Clark appeared in 150 episodes. She's in Degrassi Takes Manhattan, Degrassi in Haiti, Degrassi Minisodes, Degrassi Meet and Greets, Google Hangouts, Live at Much Music. If the fans wanted it, Annie gave it to them. And if you want to hear the story of how she actually got onto Degrassi by not even needing to audition, by literally just being perfect, you can hear that story on the episode titled Special Guest, Degrassi's Annie Clark. And if you want to hear a complete run-through of Fiona's coming out story, you can also listen to How Degrassi Makes an Impact, where I take you through Fiona's journey of self-love and self-discovery that helped me come out of the closet, and is the reason I'm here today, spending Pride Month being a proud Annie Clark fan. Or if you want to hear another birthday message, well, here you go.
Annie, it's Will, your bestie here. If a camera was on me, I would be reeling that it is your birthday. Love you so much and love how much we've all been able to connect over the last few years and can't wait for many more. Love you.
Will Bowes was Degrassi's digital producer and played a big part behind the scenes on the show. But Degrassi fans will recognize him as Zane's artsy boyfriend in season 10. You'll remember he made Riley like really, really jealous. But for Fiona, her story takes place over 4 seasons. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of her time at Degrassi. Fiona's a socialite who's only ever known the upper class lifestyle, and her family moves around a lot. Fiona transfers to Degrassi, where for the first season, she's basically a shadow to her twin brother Declan. He falls in love with Holly J, she falls in love with Holly J, and after 2 years of fake boyfriends and awkward kisses, Fiona comes out of the closet.
I love her, Mom, more than anyone in the world. And she's sleeping in my room. Oh, honey. Mom, I'm in love with her. And she's a girl.
Oh, it gets me every single time. After an abusive relationship, rehab for an alcohol addiction, feeling so lonely she gets a pig, and a few more awkward girl crushes, Fiona ends up spending the rest of her time at Degrassi dating quirky girl Imogen Marino.
We're lucky that the universe brought us together then. We must be soulmates.
The only 2 people I know who have a bond even closer than Fiona and Imogen are the actresses who play them.
Happy birthday, Boo! Zeatis here, wishing you a very happy 30th birthday. What? You're 30!
I mean, no voice note is long enough, even though we've sent like 10-minute long voice notes to each other, but no voice note is long enough to describe how much I love and adore you. In our almost 10 years of friendship together, we've literally been through it all. All the memories we created in LA, Toronto, at the clubs, sharing a bed for months on end and not getting sick of each other, driving cross country together, the endless "you up" texts late at night so we can vent to each other about God knows what. I mean, the list goes on. I could not imagine my 20s without you. You have taught me so much along the way, and I've looked up to you since the very first day we met on Degrassi. Your loyalty as a friend is unmatched, along with a very long list of amazing qualities. Like, you're literally the funniest person I know, one of the smartest gals I know, and there is no one in the world that just gets me like you do. You're one of a kind, and I'm so lucky to have a bestie like you. I cannot wait to see what's next for us. And this is cheesy, but I remember when we came back from one of our LA trips and I wrote in my diary, I love Annie Clark like a sister. And that still stands. Wishing you the best day ever. Love you.
Oh my gosh, Christine played Imogen, Fiona's soulmate on Degrassi, and I had the insane pleasure of DMing with Christine and swapping voice notes on why we just love Annie so much. And she gave me the tea. I asked her, I was like, what was the moment you realized that Annie was more than just a co-star? Like, how did you know this was your real life soulmate? And she told me the cutest story of how when she was new on set, she looked up to Annie. She thought she was so cool and funny and professional. And she said she saw Annie's friendship with Charlotte, who played Holly J. And Christine thought, like, that's amazing. I hope someday I can have a friendship like that where I work with my best friend on set. And that is extra cute because Annie has talked so much in interviews about when she started on Degrassi, she was a fan of the show and she was kind of starstruck. She looked up to Charlotte and Paula, and she saw their friendship on set and was like, well, I want to have that too. And they became friends. And now here was Christine a few seasons later looking up to Annie and her friendships in almost that same way. So, like, how cute is that? I'm absolutely melting. And it was so nice to bond with Christine over our mutual love for Annie. Like, I could go on and on about all of the adorable things she said. We talked about shooting the Frostable kiss. We talked about how Christine asked Annie to be her bridesmaid. All of the tea. And I asked Christine if it was okay, and she said yes. If you guys want to hear all about it, you can go over to patreon.com/DegrassiKid to hear Christine's voice notes about Annie and the Frostable kiss. And you can also leave your own happy birthday messages for Annie. And speaking of you guys, you've all heard my story over and over about why Fiona's made such a huge impact on my life. So this time, I wanted to ask you to take it over. Let's hear from some Degrassi fans on why Fiona Coyne is their favorite character and why Annie Clark just means so much to them.
Happy birthday, Annie. It's Jasper from the Social Disease Podcast. You actually did a cameo for my birthday last year, so I'm so happy that I could pay it forward now. Fiona is one of my favorite characters, not only of just Degrassi, but of all time. And over the years, she really helped me in growing up in understanding myself and realizing that I'm never alone so long as I have my friends and loved ones to lean on. Thank you so much for everything you brought to Fiona both then and now, and I hope your birthday is as amazing as any Fiona Coyne day.
Happy birthday, Annie. This is Bridget from the Social Disease Podcast. I just wanted to say that I hope you have the best day ever. Thank you for one of the most iconic roles and one of the best TV shows there is. I hope that you have a wonderful day full of love with family and friends, and that you just get everything you want.
Happy birthday, Annie.
Hi, Annie. Happy birthday. This is Emily and Haley from Degrassi No Context, and we wanted to wish you a happy birthday because we're huge fans of yours and of Fiona. She's one of our favorite Degrassi characters, and we love her for so many reasons. I mean, she's such a fashionista, but we especially love that she's such a ride or die for her friends. We think that's so admirable, and it makes her so lovable, just like you.
Yes, we've never talked personally, but yes, on social media, you seem so friendly and amazing. And like Jocelyn said, or as you said on Jocelyn's podcast last week, how you share that being good to your friends with Fiona. I totally believe that. You seem great, and we hope you have a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Annie, or shall I say happy Annie Clark Day. I know that that's pretty much every day on this podcast and in Jocelyn's life, but I just am really glad that we're getting this chance to shower love and admiration and all of the above on you, because I really can't think of anyone who deserves it more. Fiona is one of my favorite characters for a ton of different reasons, seeing that throughout everything, all the crap that Fiona went through. She was always worthy of recovery and love from everybody around her, and that meant a lot to me, and that still means a lot to me. Happy birthday, Annie, and I love you so much. Thank you for everything that you've done, and thank you for just being you.
If I love anything more than Annie Clark, it's Annie Clark fans, because they get me. So thank you guys for sharing your love. But as with every Degrassi character, Annie's time came to an end and Fiona graduated as class valedictorian, because that's my girl. And we'll also be celebrating the real life Annie in just a few weeks when she walks across the graduation stage at Toronto University. Rumor has it she's going to give a speech and then have the entire graduating class break out into song and dance.
So what more is there to say? Thanks, Degrassi. I've had the time of my life.
I don't know. I think it could go either way. And I am so proud of Annie. She shared on Instagram that she originally went to school because she felt like she had to, like we all do. She was young and wasn't really getting a lot out of it at the time, but then when she got a little older, she found her stride and got back into school. With the pandemic, she had time to really work at it, get a degree, and now fully graduate. Tell me that's not kind of Fiona's educational journey coming to life. I mean, just without all the women and all of the excessive drinking, probably. I mean, I don't know everything about her, but truly, I think everything Annie does is amazing. So watching her accomplish her goals and doing it on her own terms, I'm like, queen, get it. But for now, in real life, Annie's finished high school and Fiona's gone off to Italy to be a fashion designer. So what comes next? In 2013, Annie did her first post-Degrassi production, a thriller called Solo. And this is one of my favorites. I even have the DVD for it, so Annie, if you could sign that for me someday, that would be great. Annie plays an aspiring camp counselor named Jillian, and to prepare for this big responsibility, Jillian has to do a solo camping trip, alone on an island. And it becomes a truly terrifying experience where Jillian almost dies several times. And yes, Annie Clark does her own stunts. One of my favorite things she said in an interview was, "It was really easy to act scared because I really was scared." Now, there's a lot of reasons why I love this movie, but honestly, I loved hearing the way Annie talked about it. For perspective, Annie just came off a well-known serialized TV show with a huge set and a huge budget and a huge production crew, which is an amazing experience for a first-time actor, but Solo was very grassroots, kind of close-knit kind of production, something you might see out of the beginning stages of Degrassi Junior High. And Annie had complete control over her character, Jillian. If she thought Jillian would say this, then say it. If she thought Jillian would do that, then do it. And if she thought, well, I don't think Jillian would say this or do that, then don't. Annie had the freedom to really take ownership over her character as she played through the story. And as a true fan of the actress, Annie, it's so nice to know when a role is more than a job and actually a rewarding experience and helpful to her growth as an actor, whether it's something like Solo or Degrassi. And I've watched every Annie Clark interview for every single project she's ever done, so it was just nice to see her so confident and so positively impacted by her first role outside of Degrassi, because that can be a really hard transition to make. And, as is the Canadian way, the person who almost kills her in this movie is the same actor who plays Riley's dad in Degrassi. And on Degrassi, Fiona dated Riley because she knew he was gay, but she didn't know that she was gay, and he didn't want her to know that he was gay. And if there's drama, it always leads back to Degrassi. But for now, she wrapped her first film post-Degrassi. So what's next? Well, on this podcast, it's another surprise birthday message from one of her dear friends.
Annie, it's Luke here. Happy stinking birthday. I cannot believe I've known you for as long as I have, and I'm going to continue to know you for another 30 years. That's your current age right now. That seems crazy to say. I feel like we're both 14 years old. I just have to check my own age because I'm like, we're not too far apart. Am I almost 30? That's insane. We're getting old, but feeling good. Happy stinking birthday. I love you. I miss you. Wish you all the best. Bye.
That sweet, charming voice is from Luke Billick, who plays the handsome heartbreaker Drew Torres on Degrassi. And I'm just saying, I am a devoted gay Annie Clark fan for life, but Luke Billick is my straight boy crush. He just seems to have that classic written by a woman kind of personality, and if I love anything, it's women. Okay, I have to stop getting starstruck. This is all about Annie, so let's get back to the acting history of Annie Clark. Teen lust, it's a hot topic, and also the name of Annie's next movie. She plays a video game loving, leather jacket wearing Denise who helps out her best friend Neil. Neil's family is part of a cult that's going to use him as a virgin sacrifice unless he gets laid in just the nick of time. Classic. And thus begins a string of straight girl roles for Annie Clark. And this is how you know I'm a dedicated fan, because I stuck around for all of the movies where she kisses boys, and that's true love. Her next film is Not With My Daughter, where Annie becomes Abby Echo. Abby's mom is a defense attorney who no longer wants to represent the rich and guilty, so she takes a charity case who she believes is innocent, and that innocent case ends up canoodling with Abby and making things just so much worse. And funny enough, this love interest is played by JJ from the Degrassi online miniseries Eli's Dorm, and there's just so many more Degrassians that she works with. Like, in almost every project a Canadian ever does, there's gonna be Degrassi actors in it. And then Annie goes behind the scenes. She works as a production assistant on the web series Semi-Famous. But of course, Annie's a star, so she makes an appearance and plays Rosie Way Patrick, a famous actress who helps a couple of guys get their movies made. Rosie loves partying, she loves drugs, and she has a pony. Be still my beating heart. And in the next movie, The New Romantic, Annie plays a character named Claire, whose main role is to be cute and look pretty. And in my unbiased opinion, perfect casting. And then we get to Father by Law, a short film about a dad, specifically, actually the dad from Boy Meets World, who's reconnecting with his daughter on her wedding day. And if you pay attention, there's a very special cameo in this short film. You might know her as viral TikTok sensation Sam Doll, but Annie Clark knows her as a true friend.
Hi, Annie. Happy birthday from your best friend, Sam.
I was like, Sam, do you want to say anything nice? Do you want to say she's a good friend? Do you want to share a memory? And Sam was like, no, that's perfect. And after all that, we finally get to my favorite Annie Clark movie, Ghost of Christmas Past. Blonde Annie Clark plays our leading lady, Ellie, in this Lifetime Christmas movie. Yes, Ellie, like Craig's girlfriend, Ellie.
Yeah, I want to kiss Jake Epstein.
This Ellie, however, is a chronic ghoster. It doesn't matter how well the date went. She's not texting you back. Just let it go. In the movie, Ellie meets a fortune teller who calls her out for leaving men on the hook, and she faces a classic Lifetime movie ultimatum.
If you don't make amends to every man you have boasted by the stroke of midnight on Christmas Eve, you will be destined to never find true love.
Are you sure? Because that's under a week away.
Now, I won't spoil it for you, but maybe we find out that her true love was with her all along. Aww. And I gotta admit, like, straight movies, boy-girl kisses, not really why I'm here, but this movie is very cute, and I can't express it enough. I was genuinely rooting for Ellie the entire time, and not just because I'm in love with Annie Clark, but because she was actually a great character. Like, when I watched this movie, I felt so proud. I'm always proud of Annie. Anytime she does really well at something or is impacted by something, I'm just like, that's my favorite person. Look at her go. And now I get to watch my favorite person play someone who was so confident and so self-assured and the main character. Like, yes, she was pretty and cool like always, but she was so much more. Everything that happens in this movie is about Ellie. It's for Ellie. It's because of Ellie. And this is the perfect movie for an Annie Clark fangirl. Ellie was someone who could make me laugh just by a quick glance. A character who made me fall in love with them just by how charming they are. And when I watched this movie, I messaged Annie right away to let her know that I loved it, of course. But I told her that one of my favorite parts was near the end of the movie, when Ellie's laughing with her love interest. Because I watched it and I was like, this feels so real because that's Annie's real, genuine laugh. And she told me on set, they told them to just have fun and they'll play music over the scene. But they ended up using the real audio from that shot. And so Annie actually was genuinely laughing. And I loved that. I thought that was so cute. I watched this movie with my partner and I was like, that's Annie Clark. And keep in mind, we're like fully 50 minutes into this movie. And my partner's like, yeah. And I'm like, no. Like, that's Annie Clark. But like, that's Annie Clark. Anyway, I thought it was cute. But as you know by now, it's not nearly as cute as our very last happy birthday message from Jessica Tyler, who played Jenna Middleton on Degrassi.
Happy 30th birthday, Annie Clark. I cannot believe you are 30 after all these years of knowing each other. It's so amazing that we're still celebrating birthdays together. Wanted to wish you a very happy day. 30 has truly never looked better. You are aging like fine wine. You truly just get better with age. You are the best. You're beautiful. You're hot. You're sexy. You're everything. You're smart. And I'm very excited for this year ahead. Here's to many, many more. Love you.
Thank you so much to Jess and to everyone who sent in voice clips. I came up with this idea a few weeks ago, and it just continued to grow and grow and grow with so much love and support. And this doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of how many people just truly love Annie Clark. And of course, that brings us to right now. If you've kept up with Annie's Insta stories and TikTok, you know she wrapped another movie called Love Hacks, like yesterday at 5 a.m. She posted a video of them singing happy birthday to her, and it was so cute. And now, I don't know much about it, but I do have a pretty solid guess that she probably plays another cool and pretty straight girl. And if she never plays a lesbian again, that's okay. I can handle it. I'd probably just be jealous anyway. And just because it's her birthday and I've picked on her a lot, I will embarrass myself this time and say, I want to kiss Annie Clark. But no, honestly, I feel so lucky that over the last 10 years, more than 10 years, I've had a front row seat to all of Annie's accomplishments and got to stand by just rooting for her every step of the way. And I will continue to do that for the rest of my life. So now it's time that I share my own happy birthday message for my dear friend, Annie. I didn't say Annie Clark. Are you proud of me? Annie, I hope if anything, this all comes off as a true love letter to just how much I admire you. It doesn't matter if you're playing my favorite TV lesbian or you're just a buddy helping me make a podcast. You're my favorite person in the world, to no exaggeration. Most normal people would be terrified by that, but you're crazy and you actually fully embrace it. You're a person that, whether by accident or on purpose, you have been there in every big moment of my life. You've made me feel loved and valued and celebrated, and I hope your birthday is all about you feeling loved and celebrated just the same. And of course, spending the day living true to the phrase, it's Annie Clark's birthday. I can do whatever I want. So from the bottom of my heart, happy 30th birthday, Annie. And I hope when you were listening to this, you had the time of your life.
Happy birthday, Annie!
If you want to be cool like Annie Clark and support my podcast, you can visit patreon.com/DegrassiKid. And thank you to everyone who's already shown their love. Happy birthday!